Have you ever met somebody who they say that they want something? Big goals, big dreams, the classic. But then when it actually gets to achieving those goals, when it comes down to doing something, they don't do a single thing. They always talk about hustling and grinding, but once it's time to actually put the work in, they're too tired or too busy, or they're simply just not feeling it. That is not hunger. That is wishful thinking. What sparked me to make this video was actually a lyric from a J. Cole song. And it goes, hungry is when you're relentless. Even when one of your idols looks you dead in the face and tells you you can't, and you know that he meant it. And I think that resonates, or it should at least resonate with a lot of people. See, people love wanting things. They love talking about their future, talking about how they'll change the world, or how they'll succeed. But real hunger, real obsession, it doesn't talk. It doesn't make noise. It moves. It acts. It doesn't make excuses or negotiates with itself. Hunger is truly relentless action. Think about the hungriest you've ever been in your life. And I don't mean hungry, I mean physically starving. Truly starving for something. When every single waking thought is being consumed by that sole idea. And every single action is driven by that passion. That is what hunger does to a person. It eliminates all distractions and focuses all of your passion and all of your power onto one outcome. Now, apply that mindset onto your goals. If you're not thinking about your ambitions daily, if you're not making moves constantly, and if you're allowing distractions to pull you away from the true big picture, then you're not hungry. And that's why you will never get what you want, because hunger isn't comfortable. Hunger doesn't wait for the perfect moment or for motivation to hit. It doesn't give a fuck if you're tired or if you don't feel like doing it. Hunger will make you get up and do the work regardless. And there's another large reason why most people fear that intensity. It's because being relentless forces you out of your comfort zone. It demands sacrifice. It demands genuine attention. It means saying no to things that feel good in the moment because you know there's something for you in the future. And the problem is that most people, including yourself, aren't willing to do that. Most people want the rewards without the obsession. They want their dream body, but they won't cut out the junk food or exercise anymore. They want financial freedom, but they'll end up wasting hours and hours on meaningless things. They want success, yet they won't push when things get tough. That is why so many people will remain average. It's because hunger doesn't show up when things are easy. No, it kicks in when things are at its hardest. When the challenges start to pile up, that's when you need to be relentless. That's when you need to lock the fuck in. When every single fiber of your being wants to quit, you have to continue pushing. That is being hungry. And that is the difference between those who make it and those who don't. Let me initially clear something up for you. Being relentless isn't about mindlessly grinding until you burn the fuck out. No. It's about grinding towards a proper goal, towards a meaning, moving with purpose. It's about cutting out all the distractions and the hurdles and operating as if you've already won because you know that you are playing the long game and that if you keep it up, you will win. Take Kobe Bryant as a very cliche yet very impactful example. He was fucking relentless. Even if he had so much talent, he put in so much work. He didn't simply practice or train. He outworked every other person around him. He showed up to training at fucking 2 hours, 3 hours before anyone else was even awake. He woke up at 4 a.m., which might sound crazy to others. And you know why? Because he didn't wait for fucking motivation to strike. He created his own momentum. There's a quote from him, which I'm about to tell you. And it's that, I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. He engineered his own success with such a fucking drive, a burning passion, that he had no other choice but to succeed. And this was so well executed that so many people would have called it extreme and would have called him crazy. An even further example could be Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest philosophers. He wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That is the spirit of relentless hunger. Using every single obstacle and hurdle in your way to propel yourself further. It's about turning pain and adversity into fuel, into the raw materials of progress. Now, obviously, being relentless isn't free. It costs you, and it costs you quite a lot. A lot of people will look at you and think you're fucking crazy. They'll start to misunderstand you. They'll tell you that you're too intense or too serious, and they'll try and drag you back down. They'll tell you things like you're missing out on life, have some fun. And to be fair, comfort is an addictive drug. It's not their fault. We live in a society that's addicted to it, that relies on it. Society's addicted to junk food because it's cheap. Cheap. Binge watching mindless fucking TV shows for hours and hours and hours. Scrolling on their phones. No sense of time. Which even I'm guilty of. Actually, quite badly. However, in that process, we trade our potential for fleeting pleasure. Think about it. The modern epidemic of porn addiction. Nobody actually wants to admit that it's a problem. However, look around yourself. Millions and millions of men are hooked on this bullshit. This instant pleasure. They waste their energy on the daily. They waste their time, one of their biggest resources. You think that doesn't affect you? Every single time you indulge in this fake bullshit, you're training yourself to be satisfied with nothing. No effort, no real connection, and no victory. Just a hollow reward for zero work. Back to Marcus Aurelius, he again said that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But most people don't have power over their minds. They let their urges completely run them. They think that they're free, but in reality, they are slaves to their screen. They are slaves to their habits, their lowest instincts. It's the same story, but a different drug. Your body is a fucking machine. It should be eating like a king. However, most people feed it poison, empty calories. Calories that spike your dopamine and insulin, but absolutely fucking destroy your energy. Do you ever notice how you always feel like shit after eating a big, greasy meal? You don't feel like doing anything? That's not an accident. That's not a coincidence every time. Your body is literally being conditioned to stay weak. To quote a different philosopher, Socrates, he said, quote, "No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training," end quote. However, if you compare that to today, being out of shape is literally normal. Being weak is fucking normal. And it's not just about looks. A weak body will create a weak mind. And a weak mind is literally a guaranteed no-fail path to failure. If you want to actually know why discipline feels so hard, well, it's because we've made it unnecessary. You don't need to push through discomfort anymore. Everything is literally designed to be so easy that you barely even need to raise a finger. You don't have to hunt for food. You don't have to build anything. You don't even need to leave your house at this point. But the problem with that is that easy is the enemy. Easy is what makes you lazy. Easy is what makes you weak. Easy is what makes you replaceable. And I'm not telling you to completely reject comfort. After all, being fully rested up and recovering is a necessity. However, there is a very, very fine line which is being abused between balancing a healthy lifestyle and becoming enslaved by your own habits. Too many of us allow our addictions and our habits to dictate our actions. You overeat, you overconsume, you let your desires for instant gratification stop you from achieving greatness. And again, this reflects on mental. You allow your mind to become lazy, to become unchallenged, and in turn, this leads to self-limitations. Again, Seneca warned, quote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it," end quote. If you're waiting for the perfect moment or the motivational moment to arrive, you're going to be waiting for a very long time. And the problem with that is that you're going to be losing that time. The most precious and the most valuable resource that you own. And that's honestly one of the scariest parts. Most people aren't even aware that they're wasting their lives. They assume that they have an abundance of time. They assume that they have the liberty to start tomorrow. However, hunger does not wait. Hunger demands action now. The people who win in life aren't the ones who avoid the suffering. They're the ones who embrace it and the ones who seek the path that takes them to that suffering. The ones who understand that discomfort is the area for growth. Friedrich Nietzsche put it perfectly. Quote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." And that reflects on one of the biggest problems today. Most people don't have a why. They don't have a burning passion. All they have is distractions. All they have are cheap pleasures and excuses. So what is the actual solution? Well, it's to take back control. There's 3 simple steps. Cut the poison, rebuild your discipline, and find your purpose. If there's any necessity for me to expand on those, you already need to take a long look at yourself. However, the way you can regain that hunger and regain your edge is by forcing yourself to become uncomfortable. The only way to break free from complacency is to force yourself into situations that have no exit. Situations that demand more from you. Like I said, start by cutting out the poison, things that make you weak. If you're addicted to junk food, throw it out, don't have it available. If you waste time on social media, delete the apps. And if you struggle with self-discipline, create a genuine plan for yourself that you force yourself to stick to. Simple things like taking cold showers, pushing yourself to failure in the gym, setting yourself a goal so big that it scares you, and then genuinely committing to it with every single thing that you have. Start reading things like philosophy, non-fiction, but even fiction can be good. Anything that genuinely will improve you. Learn from those who came before us. Reading is like a shortcut to success. You're literally skipping the failure that they experienced, which you may have experienced, just by reading a book. Understand what the warriors, or the leaders, or the thinkers, all of them, understand what purpose they held in life. Understand what it means to live with a purpose. And you need to find that purpose. It's not something shallow that you can just find in a day, or in an hour of sitting down and pretending like you're thinking. It's not got to do with money, not got to do with status, not got to do with validation. It has to be something real, something that forces you to drive towards it every day. A magnetic force that pulls you in and forces you. I'm genuinely telling you that it has to force you and command every step of your thoughts. It has to make you willing to suffer. It has to make you willing to struggle, and has to make you able to push through any hardships. So I need you to ask yourself, I need you to, are you truly hungry for success? Do you truly have drive towards a passionate goal? Or are you simply just interested in it, on the side? Because if you're not obsessed, if you're not willing to sacrifice or push through it, then you don't really want it. And it must not be worth it to you. Because at the end of the day, hunger isn't just about wanting something. It's about refusing to live with it. No, fuck. It's about refusing to live without it.